Hey everyone, it's Chris Clark with discgolf.law. Let's talk big money skins. Recently at the Eagles Crossing course in Missouri, Eagles Crossing teamed up with GK Pro to host an event with really the biggest payouts of the year. $50,000 to the winner, $100,000 total prize pool. It was to be broadcast using a pay-per-view streaming platform. $14.99. You got to view the entire weekend's event in what was promised to be an ESPN quality sports broadcast. Now, most of you know by now, the broadcast did not take place. Turned out to be a pretty big disaster. They just were never able to get the live broadcast going at all. Ultimately ended up promising to refund everyone's money. Let me start out by saying, we're fans of GK Pro, and we have been sponsors of GK Pro skins in the past, and I expect will be again in the future. I'm not really making this video to call anyone out or lay blame at anyone's feet. Mistakes happen. I think it's great that we had a group of people that were willing to, swing for the fences and put on a really impressive event. One important thing to understand, GK Pro hired a third-party company to handle the live broadcast side of the event. They referred to that company as Mason Productions. Their website is at mason.agency. This was, according to GK Pro, a company that specializes in live broadcasts and has sports broadcast credits on every major network. Turns out, apparently, that is not the case. The understanding that I have from the people that I've spoken with is that Mason showed up without the proper equipment, without the proper personnel. Some of the equipment they had wasn't working, some of the equipment they just didn't even have at all, and just had a complete lack of experience in the field. Now, whether you want to assign blame to Mason for that, or whether GK Pro or Eagles Crossing bear some of that responsibility for not properly vetting their contractor that they hired, I think that's open for debate. But again, I don't think that's where we should focus our energy. Leading up to the event, prior to the fiasco with the broadcast, there were a number of red flags associated with this event that had a lot of us asking questions and having conversations prior to it, wondering, is this really going to happen? When you went to the Big Money Skins website, bigmoneyskins.com, to learn more about the event, to sign up for the pay-per-view, to see, what merchandise options were available and other ways that fans and spectators could interact with this event, you were led through a confusing collection of various different websites that only appeared to be loosely related, and in some cases looked like they'd been hastily thrown up without a lot of attention to design or the user experience. When I went there, I started at bigmoneyskins.com, redirected me to gatewayunderground.com, and then to supportdiscgolf.com. Now, one quick thing on supportdiscgolf.com that was confusing, they were using the language that they were holding a fundraiser and they were inviting people to make a pledge. That language is taken from the charitable world, the nonprofit world. I couldn't tell that there was any affiliation with any nonprofit or a charity. It looked like their pledge, what they're asking people to pledge money, was if you pledge a certain amount, you would get a certain package of merchandise. They're essentially selling merch from the site and calling it a pledge. Just kind of a really confusing, misleading use of language there. From there, it redirected me to eaglescrossingdiscgolf.com, then over to livediscgolf.net, and then eventually to the GK Pro YouTube channel. So one observation is that this just comes across as not very fully thought through in terms of the user experience. Anytime you're doing an event like this, you want to just make really sure that your contracts are in writing and they're buttoned up in advance. Anytime a third party is going to provide a service as important as a live broadcast where you've got an audience that is paying to watch it. You want to make sure that they've made certain representations and warranties in your written contract. And you want to make sure you're really specific about what the expectation is and what the deliverables will be from this engagement. Mason was either paid or was to be paid a very significant sum of money to handle this broadcast. I haven't seen the contract, but I certainly hope that there is clear language in there that says what happens if they can't deliver the promised services that they were engaged to provide. This is how you avoid costly legal fees. Hopefully this doesn't involve litigation in order to get it resolved. And if you've got a good written contract that spells everything out, ultimately at the end of the day, it's going to save everybody a lot of money from having to go the litigation route. You've got a contract that says exactly what is to happen, and you can rely on that in order to address the issues that came up. That's my takeaway for everyone watching this. When you're working on ventures in disc golf, I know it's tempting to just do everything on a handshake deal. It can really come back to bite you. Make sure you've got that written contract buttoned up, ready to go before the event starts.